Ever since the creators of Friday Night Funkin' revealed that Tankman, Cassette Girl, Hank J. Wimbleton, and Ritz the Rat were confirmed to appear in future weeks, with Tankman officially appearing as the opponent for Week 7, there have been many people talking about who might be next to join the lineup. Here's a list of characters who might be good candidates for future opponents of the game. A werewolf. During the song Monster, the Lemon Monster talks about giving boyfriend's blood to a werewolf. While this could easily just be part of the song's spooky feel, it is the only time in either of its songs that it mentions another supernatural creature, or even a living thing that is not boyfriend or girlfriend outside of a vague mention of the two meeting their friends in an ambulance. In addition, it's odd to mention a werewolf specifically since vampires are the ones so closely associated with blood, coupled with the moon being depicted as full in both the times it's shown, and, well, maybe it's just a coincidence, but with the low-key supernatural elements of the lemon monster itself and the ambiguously demonic nature of girlfriend's parents, a werewolf would fit in quite nicely, possibly for another Halloween-themed week. Hatsune Miku. Building off the joke that Miku is boyfriend's sister, it's possible that she might appear in a future week. The songs featured in her week could be remixes of songs she's well known for, like Po Pi Po and even Polka. However, despite having a few fan-made mods themed after her, it's pretty much unlikely that she will be included in the official game outside of those mods, mainly due to copyright issues with Krypton Future Media. Aaron Hansen, aka Egoraptor. Given how he's one of Newgrounds' most famous content creators, it makes too much sense. Aaron would most likely appear in the Grumphead art style shown in the intro of Game Grumps, and the stage for his week would feature cameos by Danny, John Tron, and Ninja Brian, the last of whom would appear behind Girlfriend operating a turntable. The songs could be remixes of notable Starbomb tracks, such as Smash and It's Dangerous to Go Alone. However, this idea might not be very likely, because considering how Aaron openly burned some bridges with Newgrounds after some drama between him and Senor Pello, it's possible the team won't welcome him back with open arms. Coach Z, from Homestar Runner. Considering how Pico, a very influential part of Flash's history, was included in FNF, and considering how Coach Z is a rapper, or at least tries to be, perhaps he might be a bonus boss of sorts if a Homestar Runner themed week was to be included in the game, with songs like These Peoples Try to Fade Me or Fisheye Lens. Isaac, from The Binding of Isaac. Another Newgrounds veteran whose overt religious themes wouldn't be too far removed from FNF's demonic undertones. To stay true to his origins, his appearance would directly harken back to his original Flash game as opposed to the morbid crushed aesthetic rebirth. The music would also consist of remixes of the original game's Danny Baranovsky tracks, such as Sacrificial, My Innermost Apocalypse and Be Done. Since Edmund McMillan said he's okay with having Isaac be included in the game and Ninja Muffin gave his approval, it's very likely that Isaac will be included in a future week. Henry Stickmin. He's also a famous Flash character, and his music can be remixes of music in his games. Also, his idle animation could be the infamous distraction dance. If not, then it could be featured in his moves. Maybe Charles Calvin and Ellie Rose could appear in the stage for his week. According to Ninja Muffin, there's a 50-50% chance that Henry will be included in the game. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but we'll just have to wait and see. Alastair, from Hazbin Hotel. Like Pico, he has been sent by Daddy Dearest to get rid of boyfriend. But in this case it's revealed that Dad is terrified of Alastair, which might be kind of out of character for him, and only convinced him to do the deed rather than hire him. However, Alastair finds the escapades of boyfriend and girlfriend amusing and decides to do a rap battle instead of killing the former. There could also be a joke where Alastair says that Mommy Marist's voice reminds him of a certain someone, alluding to how her vocals were provided by Vaggy's voice actress Monica Franco. However, it's uncertain whether or not he might appear, mostly because he would fall under copyright. If the creators want to include him in the game, they might have to talk things out with Vivian Madrano, the creator of Hazbin Hotel. Crazy Frog. He was popular during the 2000s, and his singing mostly consists of gibberish sounds that would translate well in the FNF format. However, like Miku, It's highly unlikely that he will be included in the game outside of mods, mainly due to copyright issues. Ina? She has a series on Newgrounds, there's already a popular mod for her, and she was even featured in the Pico Day 2021 banner. Not to mention she would also have a very unique theming for a possible week. Salad Fingers. He's another iconic Newgrounds character, and his surreal and unsettling nature would certainly make for an interesting inclusion. One of his songs could be a remix of Beware the Friendly Stranger. Dr. Fetus, from Meat Boy. Seeing another happy couple, Dr. Fetus is extremely angry and jealous, because this reminds him of Meat Boy and Bandage Girl. Seeking to ruin their happiness, he kidnaps girlfriend and challenges boyfriend to a rap battle in order to release her. His songs could be remixes of Cano Salt, It Ends, Dr. Fetus's Castle, and Carmidi Burana. Like Isaac, it's also perfectly possible that Dr. Fetus will be approved as a future opponent. Pico, again. He was contracted to check on BF and GF to make sure BF was dead after GF's parents' plot. He jumped in to save BF and GF when they were about to be executed. It's highly likely that Daddy Dearest wouldn't like learning that Pico had a chance to save his little girl and didn't take it, and it's quite plausible that that was his motivation. If this is true, saving BF was probably a side effect of making sure Dad didn't turn him into the next senpai. The result, with BF still alive and Pico contracted to make sure he's dead, is probably a lot like the situation that led to week 3, including a rap battle. It's pretty likely that Darnell and Nene might be included in the stage for the week, too, considering that they also originated from Pico's school. Bonus points if Darnell appears behind the girlfriend operating a turntable. This could be highly likely, given that both Pico and Dad are confirmed to appear in future weeks. Tank Man, again. It could be argued that Tank Man is far too iconic to just have a one-off appearance. Sure, he's also one of the upcoming playable characters, but still. Alternatively, a different Tank Man character, like Steve or Skittles for example, could be the one in the spotlight this time. Spirit, outside of Hating Simulator. Perhaps he'll manage to escape the game somehow and boyfriend will have to rematch against him, if only for the sake of girlfriend not wanting her dad to get hurt or killed. Either that or we'll play as Daddy Dearest himself, for that week only. Maybe Spirit will even get his physical form back and we'll finally see what he looks like when he isn't a red wisp with a realistic face. Jerry Jackson. He was created by David Firth, the same guy who made Salad Fingers, and his series focuses on him wanting to become a famous animator and making amateur Adobe Flash cartoons. Since FNF is supposed to be a homage to old Flash games, it'll be no surprise if Jerry gets his own week in the game. Alien Hominid. He's another Newgrounds classic, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see him in the game, especially since Tom Fulp himself created the character. Ed, Tom, and Matt, from Ed's World. It's perfectly possible since the Ed's World crew gave their approval after supporting the game's developers on Kickstarter. Phil Eggtree, from Riddle School. His games are pretty popular in the Newgrounds community and they were inspired by Pico's school. His songs could be remixes of tracks featured in his games like Blue Sky and Orange. One of them could even be called Breadcrumbs and Beaver Spit. An Angel. Since demons exist in the FNF universe, who's to say angels don't exist as well? Boyfriend. Normally, Boyfriend is the character we play as, but what if he was an opponent for a week? Either we'll play as a different character against him, bonus points if the Boyfriend sings after his opponent rule still applies, and the gameplay is switched around so the player has to go first, or Boyfriend will face some kind of evil clone of himself. Boyfriend's family members, besides Ritz the Rat, not counting Miku. Since we've already seen Girlfriend's parents, why not have Boyfriend's parents make an appearance in the game too? They could be included in a week where Boyfriend decides to introduce his girlfriend to them, but they're not so sure about him dating Girlfriend because she's a demon, and they have heard a lot about her parents, so, taking after their son, they rap battle her to see if she's really the one for him. This could be the first time where we will get to play as Girlfriend in the game. Wouldn't that be cool or what? Girlfriend. She could be the final boss of the game. Given her musical background, it's not a surprise if she inherited her musical talent from her parents. Plus, she taught her boyfriend during the tutorial. Also, given that she's basically there listening to you singing with various opponents during all those weeks, she could have memorized all those songs, and would want to see how her boyfriend actually fared off for the finale. Granted, she might use this to test his strength or prove his worth, just like her parents did. Her final songs could be a medley of several songs in previous weeks, and then she might sing a romantic duet with her boyfriend since they finally get a chance to date. Although the developers said that it might not be very likely for them to use her because it's too cliché, they'll probably change their minds when the time comes for them to make the final week of the game. Who knows? Since there are so many well-known characters from Newgrounds and Flash games and animation in general, the possibilities are endless. What do you think? Who would you want to see as a future opponent in FNF? Let me know in the comments.